Hi, Mormon God. So my experience was on the opposite end of the spectrum. I was sitting on the side of the table of the leadership. In my ARP group, which was a stake level, I was called as facilitator, being considered somebody that had recovered from my sins. And there was a missionary couple called from our stake to be in the calling as, the leaders of the group. And so the only women were in leadership, me and the wife and the missionary couple. And, I was developing my own spiritual independence at the time, and something was just off about the manual, about the spirit of the meetings, about the conclusions these men drew about themselves. I can't say that there weren't successes. One man in particular, I think, was benefited by the group, but I believe he did the work on himself. Whether or not the ARP program helped him is for him to say. I'm glad if it did, but everything else just seemed to be like spinning wheels. I didn't see a lot of progress or change in most of the people attending. It seemed kind of like, we're meeting here to talk about stuff, and we're going through this 12 steps and through the 12 steps and through the 12 steps and through the 12 steps. It wasn't like anything dramatic or spectacular happened. There was one man in particular that his favorite verse to quote every single week was about how the flaxen cords of sin turn into a chain and pull you down to hell. It's somewhere in the Book of Mormon, and he quoted it and quoted it and quoted it and quoted it. So whenever I see that verse now, he's the one I think of. I didn't like the anguish of it. I didn't like the public aspect of it. In the ARP group in my ward, which I did not have to participate in, some horrible things happened. People betrayed confidences. There were emotional affairs going on between participants. The whole thing was a steaming pile of shit. None of us were professionals in counseling or mental health or anything. It seemed like a pointless circus, and yet, there were many people who bore testimony of how life-changing it was, including the friend of mine who asked me to facilitate. She's the one that gave my name to the stake president, I didn't like to see these men suffering. I didn't like to see them having to confess, I messed up last week, and to tell us all. it's none of my damn business. I don't even think, I was starting to feel like it's not even your church leader's business. This is between you and God. Frankly, I was embarrassed. And, I wondered, as I sat there squirming in my chair with, these intimate details, how do bishops feel? And then I realized that the good ones were the ones that felt uncomfortable. I hadn't been so fortunate to have many good ones.